Hi, welcome back to English Recaps. Today, I'm going to explain action sci-fi film called Dimension 404. Watch out and subscribe channel for help to grow us. So in the beginning of the film we are shown some boys and girls sitting at a place and playing a video game. Because they have taken part in this game here, there was the competition of all of them. And the winner was going to get a lot of rewards. There were a lot of people around them in this game, only the other players. That is, the players had to be killed and collect as many points as possible as the game starts. All the players start killing each other a lot, because of which they collect a lot of points here. There was a girl who was a new player and there was a boy who was the master of the game. It means he was a very old player. And he had won a lot of games and a lot of rewards. The crowd is shouting to excite them, so the old player keeps moving forward easily because of his experience, but the new player has to face a lot of difficulties to move forward and had to work hard. That's why she picks up an energy drink bottle called Impulse 9 and drinks a lot in one go. Energy drink is actually a powerful drink. By drinking it, not only does it get strength but also slows down by 100 times. It means it starts moving very slowly. Now because of this quality she ends everyone, including the old player, and wins this game, and she starts to celebrate her happiness with her friends, but she didn't know that her happiness was going to turn into sorrow. Suddenly the energy drink bottle falls down and breaks, and all the drinks are scattered. After this, the scene suddenly changes where the girl finds herself a mother of 3 children. Her house was very old and filthy. There was nothing like modern era and was no electricity either. Seeing this, her pain has increased a lot. Then when she comes out of the house, she sees that the outside world is also barren, and there is nothing but debris. Even the air was poisonous, in which it was difficult to breathe, and there was a need to wear a mask. After this, the scene of past is shown where it all started. We see this girl named Val, who was a gamer. Her only purpose in life was to become a good gamer and earn a lot of money and fame. She used to live with her dad in a house. And this is the time of 2017. One day her dad prepares her for a job interview at the hotel, where she gets upset and gets ready in clothes and goes out for the interview. Outside, her friend was waiting for her in the car. Then a little ahead, Val sits on the back seat, changes her interview clothes and wears normal clothes, and instead of giving an interview she goes to play her favorite game, Field of Fire. Like other games, the Field of Fire is also a game for many players, and its main purpose is to kill others and stay alive till the end. Val thinks that if she wins this game she will earn millions of rupees and obviously become famous. Then with that money she will buy a gaming computer for herself. Then her friend tells her that in today's game an old and talented player named Roy is going to give an amazing performance, so be careful. The girl gets a little nervous. Then very soon they reach the area where the game was to be played, where the old player Roy was taking pictures with his fans. Now before the first game starts, Val's friend tells her that you have to play with full attention so that you somehow reach the final game, on which Val says, "Yes, don't worry, I will do this because I want to defeat that arrogant Roy." Somehow after a while all the players sit in front of their computers and the game starts. In the beginning Val goes ahead of everyone, but after a while Roy easily leaves her behind. She was so sure that she would win the game that she was enjoying it with the people who came there, taking advantage of this. Val collects some points. She was just about to win, but she starts trying to kill Roy and get him out of the game, but her attack goes in reverse because Roy kills her and gets her out of the game. Despite this, Val reaches the final match, which was going to happen tomorrow. Then when she goes out with her friend, Roy takes off her mask and tries to get her out of the game, after which he joyfully begins taking pictures with his fans. After this, when Val's companion goes to get his vehicle, a man who was the proprietor of a bistro comes to Val and asks her, "Do you know the key to dominating the match?" At the point when she hears it, she is very astonished. Before she asks that man something, he holds her his card and departs from that point. At the point when she gets back home, Val furtively attempts to go to her room without making a sound. However, her father sees her presently. It was basically impossible. She was gotten, so she lets him know every bit of relevant information. That I didn't go to give a meeting, however I went to play a game, which is my obsession. Subsequent to hearing this, her father flies off the handle and tells her that tomorrow you will go to give a meeting and you will finish a work there. Yet she obviously rejects and lets her father know that how might I go, tomorrow is the last of my game, which is vital for my future, like the wide range of various guardians. Val's father additionally tells her that there isn't anything in these games, they have no future except for even now. Val stays obstinate. She doesn't pay attention to him and goes to her room. Inevitably she begins watching the game she played today on the web. At the point when she sees Roy at the top, she flies off the handle. Then her consideration goes to the card given by the proprietor of the bistro, and she recollects that she had discussed the mystery of dominating the match presently in light of the fact that she wanted to get payback. And when she quickly goes to the card composed on the card, this spot was really a game bistro where certain individuals were messing around on their PCs and partaking in a ton. Then the proprietor of the bistro comes to Val and advises her to plunk down and play the game presently. Here Val is extremely amazed that he is just advising me to play the game, so for what reason did she give me her card? Yet without focusing on it, she plunks down to play the game. She picks the most troublesome level of the game, which was unimaginable for her to play. Seeing this, the proprietor of the bistro gives her a similar Drive 9 caffeinated drink and says that it's anything but a normal caffeinated drink if you have any desire to see its wizardry. Then Val pays attention to her and takes a taste of it, after which everything around her begins to look exceptionally delayed to her. Along these lines, the game, which was outside the realm of possibilities for her to play some time prior, turns out to be simple for her. However, at that point, as she returns to the real world, she ends up before the bistro proprietor at the table. Presently astounded, Val asks her what had befallen me, on which she says that whoever drinks this caffeinated drink Drive 9 time dials back for himself, as well as it's been an hour since you drank this caffeinated drink, yet you don't have the foggiest idea how the time has elapsed. That is the reason you're so stunned. And presently, the more you drink this caffeinated drink, the more slow the time will accord to it. Presently, the individual who drinks at the time will just log jam for him, while in actuality time will continue to push ahead with its speed. And afterward, when that individual wakes up, he will have come a lot of ahead in time, all things considered. Presently, he asks her for $500 in return for a jug of caffeinated drink. Subsequent to hearing such a major sum, Val is quite surprised, but she refuses to take it because first of all it was very expensive, and secondly she believed that to win the game using such a thing is to cheat in the game. But then she shows him her mobile phone on which Roy's was calling from, which she immediately understands that Roy also used this energy drink to win the game. This was the reason why he doesn't let any other player stand in front of him now. After knowing all this, she gets ready to buy the bottle of Impulse 9. Then the next day before the game starts, she puts the bottle of Impulse 9 next to her computer, and as the game starts she drinks a sip of it, and taking advantage of everything in the game to slow down, she gets some points. Seeing it, Roy also drinks Impulse 9 in a small amount, and one after the other, leaving everyone behind, comes to the top. Now seeing this, the pressure on Val increases, and she was also very disappointed. That's why now she drinks the entire bottle of Impulse 9. Now because she had taken a large amount of energy drink, the time becomes very slow for her. Taking advantage of it, she kills the player of Roy and finally wins this game. Everyone, including her friend, is excited for her happiness, but then her Impulse 9 bottle falls down and breaks. This was the same scene that we have seen before. Now the scene comes again from here, where we see Val sitting on a chair in the same old house having her baby in her hand. Then after a while her friend comes here wearing dirty clothes, who is actually her husband. Now he tells Val to get ready after putting the child to sleep. Now after finding herself so weird, Val was very surprised, and like older people she was also shivering seeing a ring in her hand. Many questions start to arise in her mind now. To make herself a little normal as she goes down, she also meets two children who were calling her mummy. Seeing this, she loses her consciousness. All of them are scared, and as soon as she comes out, she sees that there is nothing but dust outside, and this is the same scene that we have already seen here. She is surprised to see them living in a tent and using the washroom openly. Then here she finds out that after using the Impulse 9 she has reached from 2017 to 2029, means 12 years ahead of her time. Because time was only slow for her, the rest of the world was going at its own pace, and now that reality was in reality. And she was so surprised because she did not know that time had come so far, because she was in slow motion. The place where they were living, this whole area was surrounded by tall walls. Because this whole area was separated from the desert, there was a dangerous creature in the desert that attacked humans. Then, to escape from them, they guard the main gate over and over again. Along with that, she also finds out that in the past the people who drank the Impulse 9 were now awake here at this time. Who were those? See, given the name Pulsar means who used the Impulse 9 do To the excessive use of the Impulse 9, people were suddenly reaching many years ahead, because of which there was a lot of chaos. In the whole world, obviously everything was destroyed by this. And the people here believed that Pulsar was responsible for all this destruction. That's why they were not allowed to live here. But they had only one way to recognize Pulsars, that is, if a person doubts his present time, then he is a Pulsar. Now here Val does not open her mouth by saying bad things about Pulsars and treating them badly, and she keeps it hidden from everyone that I am also a Pulsar means I have never used the Impulse 9. After going home, Val remembers about her dad, but as she looks at the table, on the side she sees a pot of her dad's ashes there. When she sees it, she understands that my dad is dead, and she starts crying. In the meantime, a policeman comes here and tells her to go to the washroom to clean it, where she first refuses, but when he reminds her that you are a cleaning inspector and this is your job, she has to go. The unfortunate young lady needs to clean the latrine for a long time, indeed alongside time. Val additionally becomes acclimated to living in this weather-beaten climate. One day she completes all her work and goes to get her youngsters from school, where her little girl gives her drawing and says that, "Mother, you are my legend." But since Val was exceptionally drained, she doesn't see the drawing of the kid and doesn't pay attention to her at the point. When she gets back home, she sees that her better half was perched on the cycle and accelerating hard. In reality, since there was no power there, he was making power to explore every available opportunity of fire game. Presently, Val is extremely shocked to see her one game, and she was likewise cheerful at the point when her significant other leaves the house. She sits with her youngsters and starts playing the game. Sooner or later, her better half runs home. He was extremely terrified and says that today it was your chance to perform the responsibility of the gatekeeper, which you had neglected, as a result of which a man who was protecting didn't be able to come inside, so he turned into the survivor of that hazardous animal. The two of them quickly run out of the house, where that man's significant other was crying, being embarrassed about her mix-up. Val begins returning home crying, yet her significant other says that your obligation time isn't finished at this point. Carry out your responsibility. Then she is miserable and finishes crafted by the watchman. Indeed, even subsequent to getting back home, she was exceptionally miserable and understands that this spot isn't for me, meaning I can't reside here. For that reason, she expects to go to that desert where she was a perilous animal. Yet prior to going, she composes a letter to her better half where she lets him know that I am a Pulsar. Then at that point, the following day, she leaves with the aim of never returning. The following morning, when her better half peruses that letter, he doesn't accept by any means. Val meanders on infertile land and arrives at a wrecked structure. And this building was, as a matter of fact, the gaming bistro. She goes inside the bistro and starts glancing around. At the point when the proprietor of the bistro emerges from behind the counter, she is extremely astonished to see him. She sees that there is no impact of time elapsing on his age. He is as yet youthful, yet he doesn't tell her the purpose for it. During their discussion, the proprietor of the bistro figures out that Val is really conscious. 7 days prior here, he concurs that indeed many lives were truly demolished on account of Drive 9. Then at that point he says to Val, "Yet I have an arrangement to get you out of this." He brings a major jug of Motivation 9 and gives it to Val to drink, and he says, "In the event that you drink it, you won't ever return to this world from now onward, in light of the fact that you probably arrived at the hour of numerous years to come. You won't come right now, on the grounds that by then you should have passed on. Indeed, my recommendation is that you likewise play the game while drinking it." Presently, Val likes this thought of him. That is the reason she sits close to Motivation 9 to play her one game. Yet when she does homage get the container of Drive 9, her eyes go to the drawing that her little girl had made for herself and said that you are my legend. Subsequent to giving the drawing, she loses all sense of direction in her recollections and starts recalling the lovely minutes enjoyed with her loved ones. After it, she chooses not to drink the caffeinated drink and concludes that I will use whatever might remain of my existence with my loved ones. With this aim, she returns to her home, where she sees her significant other carrying out the responsibility of a watchman at the entryway. He was extremely annoyed with Val, so he opens the door and doesn't give her come access and says, "You were Drive, you conned every one of us," on which Val apologizes for her activities. Presently her story was going on. Then she hears the sound of slugs terminated from a distance. Since that risky aggressor was moving towards their area, then it becomes known that this perilous animal that has been made is, As a matter of fact, this gathering of people, however, they were foes of people they used to eat their tissue. As she comes close, her significant other rapidly opens the entryway and brings her inside, after which the caution goes off here. Everybody moves frightened and gets running. Going from here, Val requests one from them, on which she says that we are all going towards a ditch because we have no way to stop those attackers. Knowing this, she is sad. And because everyone here was very upset with her, she makes a quick plan to win everyone's trust. She says to her husband, I will stay here and try to stop those attackers as long as possible, and he was not going to leave her alone here. When Val tells her to go away from here for the sake of her children, she listens to him and goes away from here. After this, Impulse gets ready to fight with the big bottle she brought with her. Then the attackers reach the gate and move forward to attack. Then here Val finds out that the leader of these attackers was none other than Roy, where Roy tells her that I have actually arrived a few years earlier. I attacked everyone and ruled everywhere, and look, today I have become a cruel leader and I can kill anyone who comes in my way. But his threats have no effect on Val, because before these people came she had drunk the entire energy drink. As proof, she throws the empty bottle in front of Roy, after which she suddenly goes back to slow motion. Then she fires bullets at the gas can, to which all the attackers get up in the air. Then she fires continuously and ends them all except Roy. But unfortunately she also gets 2 bullets, due to which she gets injured and falls to the ground. Then Roy comes and fires at her, but his aim is missed. Taking advantage of this opportunity, she fires bullets at Roy and ends him. After this, she fires a flare gun towards the sky. Seeing this, her husband gets a signal that there is no danger in their area. He is safe in every way. On the one hand, her husband was happy to give the signal towards the sky. On the other hand, Val was counting her last breaths. She was also smiling while dying with her smile. This movie ends here. Thanks for watching.